Welcome to day 53 of the Atlantic Hurricane season, day number 71 in the Eastern Pacific, if I'm not mistaken. Currently 4 invests currently are located in the Northern Hemisphere at the moment, 98E in the Eastern Pacific, 98L in the Atlantic near Africa as a matter of fact, 98W, all the 98s are out in the Western Pacific near Vietnam, and 99W which is out at sea in the Western Pacific at the moment. So let's go through them all now. Looking at the Pacific Ocean first of all, 98W well off to the left hand side of the screen there near Vietnam, and is likely to stay near the Vietnam coast in the next few days. Heavy rainfall likely there. 99W is out at sea but could pose a threat to the Philippines later on, and 98E, which is now up to medium chance of development, that's why it's coloured orange, may be the next storm in the Western Pacific, in the Eastern Pacific rather. In the Atlantic first of all, 98L here, currently located in between Africa and the Cape Verde Islands, and could become a tropical storm. The models are fairly split on whether it will develop or not, but certainly remains something to watch, because it is a 30% chance on that one as well. The Indian Ocean remaining quiet at the moment, as you can see here, very quiet, nothing that appears to have any chance of development over the next 2 days or so. So there's the Indian Ocean, all quiet. Looking at the sea surface temperatures then, very warm waters remaining off the Mexican coastline, around 30 degrees generally near Central America as well. Obviously good temperatures in line for 98E. In the Atlantic, sea temperatures falling off a little bit in the path of 98L, probably marginal as it moves through the Central Atlantic, so that could be a hindrance. But in the Western Pacific, water's very warm, certainly conducive to tropical cyclone development pretty much across the board in all the tropical regions and beyond. So let's take a look at Invest 98L then. We don't know how it will go intensity-wise, but we do have a bit of an idea how it will go track-wise. The wind's currently 30 miles per hour, pressure's 1009 millibars, current position's 12.2 degrees north, 18.9 west, 30% chance by the National Hurricane Centre as of 1 AM BST. And the storm's expected to move towards the west-northwest generally in the next 5 days. And will move generally through the Central Atlantic and possibly develop towards the western part of the Atlantic. Invest 98E is currently located towards the south of Mexico, southwest you could say I suppose, and is expected to take a fairly similar movement towards the west-northwest before curving slightly towards the northwest. That's what the models are hinting at the moment in any case. Current wind is 30 miles per hour, pressure's 1008 millibars on that storm as well. So let's take a look at the satellite imagery then. First of all, in the Western Pacific, you can see towards the far left lots of clouds and storms associated with the current Invest 98W. Very disorganised at the moment, as you can see, but it will generally probably move north over the next few days, and you can just about see 99W just off to the far southwest as it would appear on that one, and could develop into the next storm. And this is the floater imagery on Invest 98L, the one in the Atlantic, just leaving Africa there in the past few hours. Fairly disorganised at the moment, but looking a little bit better than the ones in the Western Pacific right now, and could develop into a tropical storm at least briefly before possibly fizzling out in the Central Atlantic. That could be a possibility. That Invest 98E certainly seems like it may form into a tropical storm. It's a matter of when really and how strong, but it will remain out to sea. Could pose a little bit of a threat to Hawaii according to the models, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, I suppose. For now it remains in the far Eastern Pacific and is slowly moving out towards the west-northwest. The CMC model run then shows the storm moving out towards the west-northwest in the Eastern Pacific, with 3 other storms forming after that. And in the Atlantic, it does show the Atlantic Storm 98L developing as it moves towards Bermuda and then moving off towards the northeast rather, out in the Atlantic. The ECMWF model isn't really giving us many clues, but it does develop the storm in the Eastern Pacific, keeps it on a more westward heading, moving out to sea, basically arrow straight west over the next few days. Nothing in the Atlantic on that one. The GFS has it fairly flat as well, but a little bit of a northward element in it on that storm, possibly hurricane strength maybe, but probably a high-end tropical storm at its peak. It doesn't predict anything in the Atlantic either, just a weak tropical wave moving through the Atlantic Ocean. The NavGem model Let's take a look at this one. Has the storm in the Eastern Pacific, quite weak, and nothing in the Atlantic. The CMC model for the Western Pacific then doesn't predict too much in terms of 98W, but 99W eventually develops into that storm near the Philippines at the end of that run there as quite a strong storm, it appears, maybe a minimal typhoon or even stronger as it affects the Philippines, or so it seems at the moment, but that's fairly far out. The GFS model has a weak storm moving through Hainan and then into Vietnam and China, possibly a tropical storm, but that remains to be seen, and no development of 99W. Looking at the overall predictor season scores then, July the 23rd, no change since the last update. By the way, that was quite a long time ago, wasn't it? 5 days, but no change since then. 75 points for Ken. In second place, Typhoon Boca with 67, and in third is William, also with 67 points at the moment. That's the top three. There are well over 150 entrants now. Thank you very much for participating. You can submit your own storm totals at the website force13.com/interactive. Just click the 2013 Predictor Season button and submit your totals, and it will be put on the leaderboard in due course after you send them in. Usually when there's a new storm forming, because I'm too lazy to do it at any other time. Looking on this day then, for July the 23rd, quite a few things. 1961, Hurricane Ana skimmed the coast of northern Honduras before making landfall in Belize, causing one fatality and $300,000 of damages. In 1979, Tropical Storm Claudette made landfall at the Louisiana-Texas border, resulting in 2 fatalities and $400 million in damages. And in 1983, that one's pictured there, Tropical Storm Jill formed in the Eastern Pacific. In 1985, Tropical Storm Bob made landfall in Florida. In 1995, Faye made landfall in South Korea as a Category 2 typhoon, causing 16 fatalities. That one's pictured there at peak intensity. It was a Category 3 storm before weakening slightly. And in 1996, Frankie made landfall in Vietnam as a Category 2 typhoon, causing 104 fatalities and $200 million of damages. There it is pictured, just about to make landfall in Vietnam. In 1998, Tropical Storm Darby formed in the Eastern Pacific. 2 years later, Daniel formed in the Eastern Pacific as well. In 2008, Dolly peaked as a Category 2 hurricane, making landfall in Texas as a Category 1 storm, 22 fatalities and $1.4 billion of damages. In 2011, Brett and Sydney both turned post-tropical in the Atlantic, and in 2012, last year, Vicente made landfall in China as a Category 4 typhoon after rapidly intensifying with 15 dead and quite a few $100 million in damages, I believe that was there. And don't forget, you can track any storms that form. We may get 1 or 2 forming very soon at the website force13.com/storm tracking. That's where it's all going on at the moment. That gives you a bit of an overview of where the storms are, including Invest as well, and at the top and bottom showing tables of the storm's intensities and any warnings that are currently in effect. No warnings at the moment because we don't have any tropical storms active, and moreover we don't have any tropical storms active that are affecting land, but that may change if that storm near Vietnam, or indeed that other storm in the Western Pacific, forms near the Philippines. But it appears at the moment that the Atlantic and the Eastern Pacific will not have any land threatening storms in the next few days, even if we do get some storm names. And don't forget to visit the social pages, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Force 13 is on all 3 of those, and I do very much appreciate your support and anything that you do in terms of engagement, such as commenting, liking, subscribing, favoriting, following, or anything else you can think of that I can't right now. Please do get in touch if you have any questions or comments. Just do so on the YouTube channel or privately if you wish. And the next bulletin will be coming up probably tomorrow, midnight UTC, on the morning of Wednesday 24th of July. And that's all for now.